Cheers to episode 152.
No cheersing today for me. I mean, what is that football logo you got there? Kind of blurry.
Oh, it's like a husky.
Stella Blue.
I knew it. I can see the pointy ears.
Don't buy the sweatshirt. The quality of the sweatshirt's below average. It's dog shit.
No pun intended. Stella Blue dog. Funny.
Speaking of dog shit.
I'm drinking whiskey tonight. Anyone else joining me?
No.
I could go down. I'm not feeling it. No. I should be drinking like a half gallon.
Should have drank last night heavily, but I didn't.
Bleach. To set the scene.
Drinking Clorox. Drinking Tide Pods.
Monday. Tide Pods. It's January 29th. It's 2024. It's 8:38 p.m. in cold, dark, sad, depressed Michigan. It's 7:38 p.m. in Texas.
70 and sunny today, so the lone bright spot.
The lone bright spot in the Lone Star State. Welcome into the number one all-around Michigan sports podcast. What's the point? Who cares? And the Lions blew a 17-point lead in the NFC Championship game. And
hang up, guys. Is it our fault?
No.
Are you sure?
Why?
Why would it be our fault?
Okay, so
I'm not Josh Reynolds. I can catch a football.
I was watching the game with two avid listeners, and they were like, "Well, Evan, you guys did say on the podcast the only way you guys would be upset if you guys did blow a 21-point lead." 17-21, pretty damn close.
Yeah. I don't think it's our fault, but I'm glad we said that to get out in front of it because it's true. That is about the only way I think I really could have been upset is how the game unfolded.
Yeah.
We'll get into the sadness. The whole show will be sad. I'm hoping by the end, though, we can start to come out to the other side maybe. You know, they say when times are tough, you talk with your friends, you laugh. Americans, when bad things happen, we resort to dark humor and we get through things together. That's what our country does. Times are tough. People make jokes about it too soon. So maybe that's what we get into here. But maybe like when Michigan lost to TCU, when Michigan lost to UCLA, just thinking of other devastating losses, when Michigan State lost to Purdue, we talk it out.
Lost to Mid-Tennessee State.
Yeah. I was thinking more podcast era. But
okay, Alex, I have a quick question for you. What was worse, the Syracuse loss or this loss?
Get into it. We'll get into that. That's obviously going to be a topic. Talk about it later.
Oh, I don't see it on the list.
I just told you it's on the list.
Can you add it to the show doc, please? I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
Right next to sadness.
Don't put it next to pain and suffering. Put it next to sadness.
For those wondering why does Alex sound like a goldfish underwater,
it's not that bad.
That made Evan choke. I didn't think that was that funny.
Oh, it's really not that bad, but it was funny. Got me going.
It's because he got so mad last night at the Lions performance that he broke his mic. He said he never wants to do the show ever again. I
don't want to do this show right now.
He said it's not fair.
And honestly, I bet this is our least listened to show because no one wants to hear more about this stupid football game that happened.
We can preview the big basketball game tomorrow night.
Yeah, we can talk about the hope that the Spartans deliver to make me feel better. Oh, cut!
I think you should leave that in.
I think everything stays in.
Seriously,
the show.
no. I think you should leave it absolute tomorrow. That's the only way I'll feel better.
Is that the only word you know?
Beat down, maybe?
Beat down?
Adjectives?
Oh, hope we blow them up by 50 or something? I think that word adds to the list of that. That word will always be funny. It will always be funny.
Yeah, it is a funny word.
To preview the show.
No, I told you, we're getting rid of this part of the show.
Weekly check-ins, pain, suffering, sadness. NFL playoffs, Super Bowl thoughts.
No.
Michigan football, Harbaugh gone. Ben Herbert gone. culture gone.
Ben
Culture's still
Johnson
there.
gone.
And then anything else at this time. We have 2 listener questions submitted so far. Thank you to those that responded. Alex, what's new in your
Nothing.
life, man?
Next. I saw Fred
Fair.
VanVleet at Chipotle.
What? That is pretty
What?
big news.
Yeah. I guess I forgot to mention that.
Can we get some more details? Like, I always wonder when you see a professional athlete in person, did he look the part?
His legs are large. He's wearing shorts.
Oh, wow.
He's got like some thick trunks. I was like,
Like-
wow.
Saquon?
I don't know. I've never seen Saquon in person, Grant, but you could tell that he was an athlete. He's taller in person than he looks small in the NBA. He's not very small.
How tall?
He's I mean, like a few inches taller than me. 6'3", maybe. Probably. I don't know. If I had to guess, he's with his booth hang. His
NBA
order.
players, dude.
Double
His
chicken.
order. Yeah.
Brown
Was he
rice.
charged for the double chicken? Did the Chipotle
I
worker
don't
know
know.
it was Fred VanVleet?
No one in this
Did he get-
Chipotle knew, or everyone was just like, "Oh, I'm not gonna say anything." But I was like, "Guys, what are you looking at? Look at this guy. It's right in front. Double chicken, pico, corn, no cheese, no sour cream, the fajita veggie things, and lettuce." So
What was it?
I
A
was the
block?
NBA player. Yeah, a bowl. It was thick. It was a thick bowl. Double chicken.
Mushy?
No, there wasn't really any mushy stuff in it because it didn't get sour cream or guac or queso. All
Wow.
that bad stuff that we shouldn't eat. He didn't get those.
But corn, though. Gonna be
Yeah, he
seeing
didn't
that.
get corn. Yeah.
Yeah.
He had a nice car. I couldn't totally tell what it was. It was dark, but it looked like the shape of like a G-Wagon. I just don't know if that was the exact car. he was driving.
G-Wagon.
Probably a Ford F-150.
Why was he at this Chipotle at? No, it was like 8:30 p.m. I don't know. They didn't have a game because when I got in the car, I was like, if it is him, he can't have a game. Confirmed.
He's missing the game for Chipotle.
So yeah, he must live like reasonably close to me. I guess. I don't know.
Interesting. Evan?
Big baggy t-shirt, baggy shorts. The style.
We did this last Monday.
We were still in the playoffs.
Tuesday, Wednesday had off of work again due to
What a
weather.
joke.
I still
What
went
a
to my other
joke.
job.
Easy, Mr. Gillen.
All right, Alex, in fairness, Wednesday I was one of the people pounding the table like we should have had school. It's kind of light. Then
You guys still play basketball, though, right? How'd that discourse go on
no,
the town?
Tuesday it officially got canceled. I think people were cheering that the basketball game got canceled. And then rest of the week didn't really do too much. Friday night got to spend it in Jackson. Saturday
Fun.
didn't do much, and Sunday refed all day. Then watched the Lions with some friends.
And you ate
What was your
chili
reffing?
dogs.
Did you respond to Alex's reffing situation? What was your reffing situation?
No, he never responds to me.
What? I don't look at it. I don't look at my phone when I'm
I
reffing.
said your name so that you would look. I said, Evan,
No,
what is
I
your
had
reffing
60 some
situation
messages.
today?
I responded
I said
to
it like
Cody.
9 a.m.
Today?
Sunday
Alex, I
morning.
work.
No, it was Saturday.
Sunday
I think
morning.
you texted him Saturday.
Sunday morning
It was
at
the day
9 a.m.
before.
I was reffing.
Saturday morning. I said, are you reffing tomorrow, Evan?
And I responded
Was-
to that. I said yes.
Did you?
I'm going to go look. Saturday at 10 a.m. No response from Evan. Evan's next text was, I said OT and Hinkle at 5 p.m. And he goes, yes, I have watched since the start of the
Oh,
second
come
half.
on.
Blew by.
ignored me.
No,
by
no,
reffing.
no. I don't think you.
It's true.
I never saw that text message. Can't confirm nor deny. You guys sent too many freaking Mario gifts. That's why we lost. F you guys.
Evan, that wasn't even until Sunday. Relax. You're lashing out.
I'm trying to find it. Well, let's go Red Wings. You never sent.
Reffing. It's under reffing if you search for reffing.
Just search
No, I
it,
like
Evan.
scrolling.
It's there.
I like scrolling.
You're scrolling?
Reffing situation tomorrow.
We're going to be
Evan.
here in 2 hours.
I found it.
Okay.
What was I doing in the morning that I just didn't see these text messages?
Little AD danger time.
Yeah, I don't know if okay, so Alex, your reffing question. Anything else?
No. I realize you don't care when I ask you questions.
Correct, I don't, because your questions are irrelevant.
I just wanted to know if you were reffing.
I did ref. I ref 13 games yesterday.
When did you get done?
I thought I cared, but I guess I don't.
Got done at 5:55.
Wow. Talk about not getting nervous before the game because you were just distracted.
Games were shorter. Everything was going to be done before 6 o'clock due to the Lions playing. That's how we built it into the schedule.
Was there Jared Goff chance at the gym?
There was not. There were some people getting testy about calls. Had multiple technical fouls. I tossed the kid and I said, "You're done for the game." Just went up and tossed him. Yeah, it was the end of the game.
You ever think maybe you're the problem?
No, a kid went up for a 3-point shot, and the kid two-arm shoved him while he was like mid-shot in air. Just two-arm shoved him.
Yeah, you're out of there, buddy.
I was like, 2, you're done. What? I tell you what, kids.
You can't have that on there.
What do you mean, why? That's funny what he sounded like.
Kid.
What?
The kids complain to refs the most now. Grant?
No, we did it back then.
Fortnite
no, we
generation.
did not. No, we did not.
We didn't,
I don't think
like
we did.
Kids did. I saw kids do it all the time.
No.
So if your dad was coaching you on the sideline and you said something to the refs, was your dad going to beat the crap out of you, or he just let you do it?
Yes, but my dad wasn't the coach. My dad.
Some of these kids.
Today,
there was a kid on. There was a kid on one of the teams, older teams in 8th grade.
Jesus Christ!
What?
Talking about my dad.
There was a kid in 8th grade that was on a team. I'm not going to name the team because it's going to narrow it down too much. But he was such a douche that I wanted to punch him in the face. And he's in 8th grade.
Best moment I've ever seen in youth basketball was at it was JCC at the time. We had a tournament there, and Jackson's travel team. This dude had a tattoo. We were in like 7th grade, and he went into the stands to fight a parent. It's the scariest moment of my life.
It was a kid that had a tattoo.
Yeah, they were so mad at what was happening by the refs, and then the opposing team. We were watching. We ended up playing them later, but the parents of the opposing team were like chirping these kids. And this kid just with a tattoo just goes into the stands, like goes ballistic, and he tries to fight all these people in the stands. It's Malice at the Palace youth basketball. It's crazy. So yeah, maybe it's always been happening, Evan. You're just more noticing it now.
I guess so.
I think in addition, so Big Cat has always said that professional players should get to fight a fan once a year, based on their discretion.
Get nuked.
I think that should apply for youth refs, where once a year a ref can just beat up a kid.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I'm for it. I think I would have
ended murder.
I think I would have used mine yesterday.
No, you get like 2 punches and then you're done.
Were you already in a bad mood, Evan, or?
Oh, I was in an all right mood. I got to do 8th grade boys basketball, so it was like competitive and like actually like enjoyable to stand there and like ref. Alex, the last game that I had to do yesterday was girls, I think 5th grade basketball, and the final score was 26-2. You think that was enjoyable to ref?
No.
So you're saying
your
that
answer's right.
Unlike the college game, women's has not surpassed the men's in the 8th grade level yet.
Not even close.
Okay.
Not
It's
even
good to
close.
know. I'll keep mine brief like the other two of you have. I went to dinner on Friday. Got some margaritas. It was good.
Ooh.
It was at that place we went after golf, to Rilu.
Oh.
And we were laughing
about the salmon. Do not get the salmon sandwich.
Yes.
Never get salmon at any restaurant. It's always dry.
We were laughing about how when we were there, the waiter kept trying to take my food before I was done. And I was getting roasted. And then you guys did that prank where you hid my chicken wing from me. And I was like, no. They took it from me.
You were pissed. Oh, that's funny. Forgot about that.
It was a good day. Funny time. And then my maintenance light came on in my car, so I got an oil change on Saturday, and that was my life.
I need to take my truck in. Just don't want to.
Yeah. All right. So I guess let's talk about Detroit Lions football.
Nah.
There is a lot to. Well, before we get into it, please, if you're listening this far, if you're joining the Sad Boy Hour, please subscribe if you're not already. YouTube, Spotify, Apple, at ShutUpMS on our social platforms, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. Please follow. Share the show with a friend. It means a lot since the show is free. It helps us. So let's
Show's
get
over
into
after this episode.
If it could be the last one, subscribe before it dies.
Guys, the Red Wings playoff run this year is going to be just as good.
Thank you, Evan. I appreciate the positivity.
Red Wings.
There's a lot to unpack here. I did rewatch the game, probably 2 hours.
No, you did not.
Why would you do that?
You're sick.
Just
What is wrong with you?
since it
Wait
was
till like a year to watch. I'll watch it again, but like the next day.
so I watched it on like 1.5 speed, like flying through commercials and in between snaps on YouTube TV. So it wasn't like a sit down and like that's crazy to watch like a 3-hour game again. I watched it in like 45 minutes, just flying through.
Doing
to, like,
that
make
again
sure
is still. It's like you're not going to forget what happened.
I realize I'm in the minority, but I did the same thing with Michigan TCU. I think the way my brain works is I need the closure of seeing it again. And if I'm being totally honest, watching it back did not make me feel as bad as I thought. I came away from the game still devastated, but feeling better about our future as a team. So I can report that. And I have everything
right.
basically mapped out in my head.
Let's skip the positive bullshit. Let's just start where we need to start.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ranking it
No.
compared to other devastating losses?
No.
Okay.
I think the question the soft side of the fan base is asking is was that SOL?
No.
No.
I do not think so.
Okay. Thought Evan
No.
would answer that differently if we're being honest.
No.
I mean, the wheels
No.
really came off like
They
in
did.
ways that you would think, wow, this is not fun. This is SOL type like moments here, like back to back to back to back,
Yeah.
like awful.
Yeah, no, it was
Awful
But it
is
was
an
miserable.
understatement.
embarrassing.
Miserable understatement.
Circus.
My
Clown
next
show.
question I need to ask. This was a hot topic at work today because keep in mind there's me and one other Lions fan, and then everyone else just football fans. So they don't care about my feelings.
They cheer
Quick
for
question.
the Cowboys. Freaking losers.
Where's the Lions fan from? Is he a Michigan guy?
Yeah, he's from Bedford.
Oh, nice.
This is a golfing buddy.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
So we talk Lions every week. And so we're talking just amongst ourselves, and everybody, is interjecting themselves. Blah, blah, blah.
Did you guys hug today? Like just to like embrace?
No, just a fist bump. It's just like got to stay together on this one. But so everyone's starting to chime in. I mean, everybody, everyone's coming out of their offices to talk.
Alex, before you get going, I try to avoid the conversations because I can't stand people that were like, "Oh my gosh," just the idiots that only watched it just because we made it this far. The non-football fans that watching, don't give me input on the Lions game. Yeah, I watched it.
I didn't want to talk about this with anybody but the one Lions fan, and then
Before you get it,
everyone wants to talk about it.
Into it, Alex, this just reminded me of where I'm at now in my work. I can pretty much avoid this. Like today, I didn't really discuss it with anyone, but in New York in the NFL job, that was the pros and cons. It was so fun to come in every day and talk ball until it's about your team doing bad. And then it's like, then it's the worst.
I've been
then it's
talking ball all year, and I'm like, yeah, dude, the Lions are awesome. So this is great. I can just do it all year.
It's the
No.
biggest flip. It's the biggest 180 of like the best work environment to like the worst in an instant.
For example,
Reports to HR instantly.
someone came into work today. And they're like, "Good morning, Alex." And I got in early today. I had my headphones in. I was like, I'm not talking to anybody at all. So I just kind of like mumbled back a good morning. He didn't hear me. He goes, "Dude, I get it. The Lions lost, but you could say good morning." I'm like, oh my God, here we go. 15 seconds in. I'm like, here we go.
Yeah.
So the main question that was coming up from the non-Detroit people, I think as expected, was one. So back up. There's a lot of Texas A&M people in this office, and I was
Their opinions don't matter. Did you tell them that? Their opinions don't matter?
I wasn't cursing Josh Reynolds' name, but I was putting a lot of blame on him. And he went to Texas
A&M.
He's an Aggie.
And
yes, so their opinions really don't matter.
So that was upsetting people just to start. And then the main question they're like was why did Dan Campbell go for it on fourth down twice? So then I had to explain that we did that all year long, blah, blah, blah. And just keep going. He's like, they lost the game because of coaching. Like, you can't go for it on fourth down. You got to kick the field goal. And then I'm like, well, Badgley probably misses a 48-yarder, if we're being honest. Anyway, well, you can't go for it. You got to kick that. So that was the big, like, people just telling me that the Lions coaching ruined the game. And then Josh Reynolds, it wasn't Josh Reynolds' fault on the first throw. It was a bad throw by Jared Goff. And then it's just stuff like that over and over again. So the main question I have for you guys is this loss on Dan Campbell? Because the rest of the world views it that way.
Well, there's a lot of people out there that are saying it is. Like RG3 said it was on Dan Campbell.
Rest of the world outside of the city of, the Lions fans.
You can't pick and choose your battles. Like, we micromanaged it, and we've said it before, but at one point we all just said, this is our coach, and we're going to stick through it. After, like, yesterday's game, sitting on the X Twitter, I was kind of more upset that he wasn't more aggressive. In the moments, obviously, I want him to do the complete opposite things, but he sticks to his guns. He's going to go for it on fourth down. At the end of the first half, he kicked a field goal.
You can kind of argue. We did kick one of them.
You can kind of argue, be like, he should have just gone for that one too.
Live or die by the sword, and we got both arms cut off. That's what happened.
Dan Campbell is probably more than 50% of the reason why we're here too. So, like, everyone's a micromanager from the couch until you get put in those situations, and you got to do something that's going to win you the football game. And Dan thought those two situations were going to have a better chance for him to win the football game. And I think somebody had a really good point, is if we get that first fourth down and go up 27-10, 31-10, we're probably having a different conversation here, and we're probably like talking about how we drive out to Las Vegas.
Yeah. I already said I wasn't going to the Super Bowl no matter what, but your point is valid.
It was a little too pricey for maybe like actually going, but yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like me flying to Michigan to watch the game with you guys, that was more likely. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
All right.
I was thinking about that at halftime. I was looking at flights.
You did? I was just about to curse people that actually looked at flights. I dislike that from you, Alex.
I didn't look at them. I said I considered.
Oh, you just said you did.
All right. I learned my lesson. 2016 Big Ten Championship. JT was short. Looking at the halftime tickets. I'll never do that again. People that do that.
I did not look at tickets.
I'm trying to think of how I can concisely say what I've thought about the last 24 hours about this whole Dan Campbell talk. My biggest take, I think, is that the discourse around these decisions is 100% results based when it comes to the media.
Everything's results based in the media.
The analytics community, like if you sat down with a real analytics nerd or a percentages guy or a football guy, they would have their own philosophies. But how like the media, like people from ESPN, Fox, CBS, NFL Network, they just basically play results because it's going to get clicks. But to Evan's point, if we get any of those, we win the game. People are saying the headline is Dan Campbell aggressiveness is what gets this team to the Super Bowl. Unconventional.
And I said I said that today. It's like, you know what? We get those, and everyone's praising Dan Campbell. So hindsight's 2020.
The only gripes I have with those plays is a little bit on play calling, but I even hesitate to do that because Ben Johnson has taken me to heights I never even thought we could go. Is that on the 4th and 2, the first one in the second half, the 4th and 2, I'm giving the ball to Jahmyr Gibbs because their linebackers were playing like 4 to 5 yards off in a little shell the entire game. And they had 4 down linemen, and the down linemen weren't doing shit against the run. And we were grooving that drive. And it already rubbed me the wrong way that we put a Monra in the backfield. I know we were trying to catch him off guard with the Craig Reynolds thing.
I did not like that one.
I swear I
did not like
that. I would have gone there before the 4th down call. I would have gone there for a 3rd down.
I would have gone Gibbs twice, and if we couldn't get 4-6 yards with Jahmyr Gibbs the way he was playing, then we don't deserve to get the first down. And the throw was there, so it's not like it was bad execution.
2 hands on it.
Absolutely amazing. First of all, that he evaded a Nick Bosa sack. That felt like a win in itself. That he did not get sacked on the play. And 2 hands on it. He makes that catch all the time. He's a possession receiver, crazy enough. Like, that is Josh Reynolds. He just catches it and goes down. He's not a yak guy. And he flipped his hands the wrong way. And they showed him on the sideline talking with the guy. Like, he just had it the wrong way. And then it was in his head on the next one. And it just sucks that happened. The only gripe I have is just not running it because I thought we were just at will, especially on that drive, just moving people. And I trusted our offensive line. So that was sad. That's my only hindsight 2020 thing I have.
The second one, would you guys have kicked it? Like, in the moment before it happened, where you guys like kick it? Because like in my head, it was a no doubt or go for it for me. I was never even considering because I didn't think Badgley was going to make it.
I said go for it on all 3. Even before the half, I was saying just go for it.
I was comfortable with the first one.
What did I say? I said kick, go for it. I didn't want to kick
the first one.
I wanted to kick the first one.
But I kicked the second one, I think.
The second one of the second half or the first one of the second half?
First one of the second half.
I would have kicked the field goal at the end of the first half.
Just to calm everyone down.
I would have gone for it at the first.
They went down and scored 7 right away.
The first one in the second half, I would have gone for it.
Yeah, 3.
But the second one, the last one, I would have kicked.
Realistically, I was fine going with all of them. The last one, I was like, I didn't even really think about. I didn't even know like kicking was an option. I thought we were too far away.
Would have been a 48-yarder.
Yeah, 48.
Granted, I turned the volume off, so I was watching in silence.
You're missing Greg Olsen.
Yeah. Yeah, when it was spiraling and San Francisco's crowd was going nuts, I turned the volume off.
Wow. That's a wild move, Alex.
It was dark. I was like, I got to flip the tide somehow for this team.
Alex, I think it's worse that you had to watch it by yourself.
It was really dark. It was really dark.
I went pretty crazy during the TCU
when I'm
game.
around like certain people, but like obviously I could have acted like my normal self, but it was like in that situation, you're not in your own house.
I was going
to be calm
in the first half.
The JMO play, you were embarrassed if someone saw your reaction to that.
Berserk. I was going nuts. The second half ended with me laying on the floor.
Yeah.
Staring up at the ceiling.
I ended up there.
For like a long time. Disappointed.
I broke out a weighted blanket for this game to like straitjacket myself.
Oh, I was just active. I don't even know if I sat down.
It was
I
tough.
was a floor person. I sat on the floor.
I did it towards the end. I started sitting down, then it turned into laying down when things looked really bleak. Just laid down.
I laid on my back on the floor at the end. Yep.
And then I'd pop my head up when the game came back from commercial and just kind of like crane my neck and be like, all right, what's going to happen now?
Now let's get to it.
I was crisscross applesauce in front of the TV at some points.
I was crisscross applesauce. I was on my knees with my butt on my heels, kind of perked up.
Please, begging.
Yeah.
Real quick, Alex, to put some numbers behind the decisions. This was from Todd
Who's
McShay
this for?
On the Rosillo show.
The nerds out there, the losers.
No, just,
Yeah,
just to
we are a
say,
loser. We lost yesterday. We're a loser.
no, it's more just to the listeners if you're sitting there still debating. So, in this season, there was 24 times when the Lions faced a 4th and 3 or less in opponent's territory. They went for it 24 times
24
over
times.
the season. 4th and 3 or less in opponent's territory. They went for it 20 of the 24 times. It's almost an automatic go. Like, we're going. 17 of those 20, we were successful, which is bananas. And so we were just a good team. And like, that's not a small sample size. All the 2-point conversion type plays Ben Johnson has in the different looks, he is good at that. Like they that's in the game plan of how we're going to approach a football game, that if it's 3rd and medium, we're going to run it knowing we can get that. And so it wasn't like we were just throwing caution to the wind, rolling the dice like people are comparing to Dan Campbell to a blackjack player. It's all calculated. And I was even convinced after listening to football people talk about the end of the first half, because I was thinking, why did Dan kick a field goal? Because it was 4th and 2 from the goal line. They made a great point, is that if you don't get it, there's no advantage to pinning them deep because you're going into half. So it just makes sense to extend it to a 3-possession lead. And it was just outside of his go zone. So I was like, all right, he has a plan for all of his goes at that point. There wasn't a huge advantage to, if you don't get it, you get no momentum into half. The Niners aren't pinned deep because we're going to half. So I'm fine with all the decisions that he made in that game. And even the one that everyone was roasting him for is saying how stupid it was that we tried running it on 3rd and goal on the last drive, which
Whatever,
it looks
dude.
dumb.
The game was
but
over.
again, if we can't score on a 3rd and 2 when they're expecting pass, then we don't deserve to win the game. Like, we are the best offensive line in the league. Offensive line was balling out. If we couldn't surprise them with the Montgomery run and we got stuffed, then we had to burn a timeout and settle for an onside kick. The game was already 9% chance whatever to win at that point. We don't deserve to win. So even that, I didn't get that mad, even though people are like, that was so stupid. Just take the field goal and then use your 3 timeouts. We're not going to stop Christian McCaffrey 3 times the way our defense was playing. They're going to get a first down. They're going to ice the game. So people were reading too much into that as well. That's my thought on it.
In fairness, some people, Pat McAfee, who's played in the NFL, he was saying, like, one of the ways to do that was as soon as you get into a comfortable field goal range, so we crossed the 30, kick the field goal right away with like a minute and 26 left, I think it was, around their time. That way, then you try the onside kick. Okay, you don't get it. You stop them 3 times. Now you do have a chance, but you could also use one of your timeouts, and you still have time left instead of the whole notion. It's a double. I think it's a double sword. The game was lost. Damned if you don't.
The game was lost well before that point.
Mm.
It should not have even come to that. So it doesn't really matter.
Correct. It's the whole notion. You can't win a game in the first half.
Yeah.
But you damn well can lose one.
So where does this rank? Losses in your whole 27 for Evan, 26 for Grant and I years of life.
What's the rank?
So it's right
Just
up
give
there.
Give me your top 3 if you got it.
JT was short is still up there. This is probably like the 1B. It's like Batman Robin would be this.
I think this is 2. Recency bias, this could be 1, but I still think this is 2. I don't like the Michigan State Syracuse loss. Number 1's Michigan State Syracuse. Michigan State Middle Tennessee State isn't one for me because I didn't watch a single second of that game.
Both of those are way up.
What were you doing?
I was at
probably roughing.
1 o'clock game. I think I was at school, and I think
it was at like Thursday at noon.
Yeah. I was at work, and then
it was like the opening game of the tournament.
Yeah, it was the opening game. I think on like Thursday or Friday afternoon. Yeah. So I think
what about Syracuse the Iowa loss last year, Evan, in basketball? I know that one hurt you.
It's a regular season game. That was a collapse.
It is a regular season game.
I almost
gave up on Michigan State basketball that time. Oh my god, Alex. Thanks a lot. I'm not going to be able to sleep.
New wound. Other honorable mentions would be Michigan, UCLA, Elite Eight. basketball.
David Ortiz, grand slam.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm so glad that doesn't happen now because like we were young and social media was like just starting. Like
Oh, that happened.
social media adds
this year.
Social media adds an impact to it, like a huge impact to it.
Yeah,
Really, really beats you down into the ground as if you're already not down enough. It's just fucking.
Yeah,
Like
no,
every
Twitter-
10, like how you feel, you get like 10 more tweets that like just add to it. Like, yeah, I am depressed,
Just
and then you
sinking,
get
sinking.
one positive note, like, well, guys, glass half full, like blah blah blah, and you're like, no, I don't give a shit at this point.
Twitter had me reevaluating if I even liked Chauncey Gardner-Johnson last night. I was like, do I like this guy? Like, am I a
said
fan
they
of
had to
this
cut
guy?
He was a big meme.
Big
I
meme.
was on the cut him train today. I don't know why.
Well, he's a free
But I
agent,
am.
so we don't have to cut him
Yeah,
out.
fortunately for you, Alex, it's just I wouldn't.
I know he's
If
not
he-
back. Same
Yeah.
with Reynolds.
There's a couple people I'd cut.
I would bring Reynolds back if I'm being totally honest. I'd bring him back.
Listen, he is a
Craig
good player.
Reynolds?
It just sucks that
Or Josh Reynolds.
No,
Josh.
Josh. Unless if he's not asking for a lot, he's still good. He's still a good player.
As soon as he dropped the
is good.
second
It
one,
just
my
sucks,
first
dude.
comment to Wilkins, my first comment was like, now we have to draft a wide receiver with our 29th pick. That's my first comment I said.
You need a corner because turns out Cam Sutton is booty cheeks.
I don't think he played bad.
He had a terrible postseason.
He
I don't
wasn't
think
great.
he played bad
got-
against the 49ers. I don't think he...
No,
should have had a pick. He got
Yeah.
OPI'd.
Well, he got
That was
OPI'd.
disgusting
ran
that they
into.
didn't call that. I was
He
pissed
got
about
cooked.
that.
It was great in the group
And
chat. I think, was that
no
Grant?
mention
Was
on
that
the
you or was that
broadcast.
Luke? That
I
said,
I can't
like,
believe they didn't say anything.
if it
Oh,
was
Luke
roles-
said
if it was roles
Yeah.
reversed and the defense guy ran into the offensive guy, that would have been pass interference. Like, then you should still call it.
yeah.
I just like that point because, like, yeah, it just makes it that much easier. Like, if you would have called pass interference, if it was the other way around, then it should be.
He got roasted on the Ayuk touchdown on 3rd and goal. He
Yeah.
lost his balance. And the whole
It's-
secondary tackled, but besides Ryan Branch, everybody can't tackle.
Still,
that
to me, I
secondary,
just don't
so-
get why, like,
Shitty dude.
I don't get why we can't, like, on the goal line, like, overplay the inside. And if Brock Purdy wants to throw, like, a back corner pile line over the shoulder catch, then you tip your cap to him.
We did okay on some.
We lost to
on
Brock
some,
Purdy's
like,
legs.
Was
I
that
know,
4
dude.
possession stretch like the worst, like, collapse
They scored every
moments?
possession in the second half. They
The-
scored every possession in
way-
the second half.
The way those like plays lined up together, just 1-1-1. Like it was like every 4 minutes something disastrous was happening to us. I don't think I've ever had a worse stretch of sports. In
4
my life
minutes
for
in
that.
real
Like,
time. Not 4 minutes of the game. That felt like 4 minutes in real time.
no, real
where,
time,
like
real time.
nothing went positive.
Where it
Potentially
went,
that.
bounce off Vildor's hands and face, caught, touchdown. They score
False
the next
Alex.
play. Score like the next play, and then you have I think the next drive was the Reynolds drops the 4th down.
Well,
No.
The next drive was the
Nope.
fumble.
It was the fumble.
The
next drive
fumble.
was the fumble on the first play.
Then they score what 1 or 2 plays later. Disaster. And then the Reynolds off his
Reynolds.
chest on the
Ran
3rd
out.
down.
Then we had an absolute nuke by our all-pro punter, and 2 guys can't do their freaking job and trying to down the
didn't
ball.
down
So
it. Didn't
That
down
pissed
at
me
the
off more
one.
than it should have. That pissed me off
No.
extremely bad.
No exaggeration. This is the best punt I've ever seen. Like live.
Alex, did you have
I've
the
never
audio
seen a
on at
punt
that
go
point?
that far. Yes,
When-
I was
Did you have the
15.
audio on?
Feet
Yes.
in the air after it hit the ground. That's impossible the way he did that. It's the best punt
As
I've
soon
ever
as
seen in my
that
life.
ball was connected, and then both of them in the booth were like, "Oh my
Yeah,
gosh!"
they
like,
started
just like
freaking out. They're like, "Holy shit!"
it's so good when you know it's like we're raving about a punt because that was the only thing positive that we had going for ourselves. Is that
It was the
like
best
the
punt I've ever
camera
seen. Like
can't
a-
catch up. The camera can't catch up to
80
the
yards
return,
in
man.
the
So
air?
all you're doing is just panning the entire field of just green grass.
I mean, that punt was insane, and we still it up. It even
you try to
dropped
catch it, bat it
perfectly
back,
and went
Bat
straight
it
up.
back. Bat it back.
Dude,
That's
okay.
all you have to do.
So the
one
end
job
zone-
is just bat it back.
The end zone was 74 yards. He kicked it 73 yards, and it went 15 feet in the air after it hit the ground, basically. That's insane that he kicked it that far, and it just went straight up. So Here's a thought I had too, because the shock.
College and NFL rules are differently.
That stretch was horrible, though.
On the goal
if we're
line.
just talking stretches.
College players are allowed to be standing in the end zone, but as long as the ball doesn't cross. NFL player can't be touching the end zone at all.
Yeah. Well,
They
jump from
either way.
outside and smack it.
You can jump from outside and smack it back. Everybody can do that.
But if you jumped and your foot was on the chalk, then you're effed. Then it's
Correct.
illegal.
Yeah.
So a lot of people shock value on the highlights are going to see that Ayuk catch off the dome. I have a theory that might make you feel better. I don't know. I haven't seen anyone talked about it because it happened so fast and was crazy. I am 95% confident with how human psychology of refs work that if he doesn't catch that, that flag stays. They don't pick that up.
Yeah. Yes. No.
If it makes
I'm
you
not
feel
disagreeing.
better.
No, it
There's
doesn't.
no way they
because
pick.
the way that play happened, regardless of if there was going to be a flag or not, it bounced off his face, and then I
doesn't matter.
dives and catches it.
They
and then
called a
score the
flag.
next
Alex,
play.
Grant's point is that they called the flag,
I
and whether he
know,
catches it or
but
not, and that
just-
play doesn't happen. They get the ball on the
You
10-yard line still.
Agreed.
Yeah.
But you see something like your team, your sideline is watching, and you see something like that, you're already nervous about your 17-point lead, clearly, because it's diminishing. And then you see that, and you're like, "Holy man, what's going on? There's some voodoo shit happening." And then the team starts panicking. We as fans are full blown panic at that point. And then it just keeps the wheel. Gibbs and Goff, the next player, 14-year-olds playing 8th grade football and forget what way to go. We don't know who went the wrong way. And then they fumble right after that, too.
My
So
guess
it just gives.
Probably
Gibbs
Gibbs.
probably went the
Gibbs.
wrong
I'm going to guess Gibbs. Yeah, I'm going to guess Gibbs. And even after
someone
that, he
did-
did regain control.
Someone did make a good
sort
point on
of,
Twitter
of
that
the
like
ball.
those plays need to be tracked somehow, some way, some stat of like the almost turnover plays. Like those need to be
But it was a
tracked.
turnover.
what place?
No, the
specifically?
Vildor. I'm saying the
Oh,
Should have been a turnover, and you.
yeah, like the Tampa game when Goff threw that pass to I think it was
Mhm.
Dean.
Jamal
Like those
Dean.
stats
Yeah.
need to be tracked besides just an incomplete pass.
Close
Like
calls.
somewhere somehow they need to be.
but
Just like blue ball, like it should be just
if it makes-
just blue balled.
if it makes one Pride Nation feel better, if he picks that off, we're getting a ticky-tack DPI, and it's not getting picked up, and it's going to be on the 5, and they score regardless. So to me,
Absolutely correct.
the fluke nature of the play, like people being like, "Oh, it's like that Seahawks catch in the Super Bowl. It's like the Plaxico Burress catch." No, like it was going to be a flag. They were going to insert themselves into the game. The ref threw it incredibly early. The Sky just probably said, "Pick it up," because we don't need people thinking about that play because he caught it. It doesn't matter. That's how that happened because they waited a long
Ayuk
time to pick it up.
also catching that sparks his whole team. Like, holy shit, guys, we're back. We're back.
No,
And then-
that's a good point, Alex, the mental side of it. But really, like, if we talk about this stretch, the fumble was when I went completely numb. Like, that's when I lost feeling in my body and, like, just thought it was
But
a
I
bad
think
dream.
when you put them together, all right, let's just say pass interference, it's a 45-yard penalty, whatever it is, touchdown, and then immediately after fumble. Those two things together compounds it, makes it so much worse. If we had just gotten a stop
Yeah.
and punted and we got it back and fumbled, but we're still holding, we have 7 more points on the board than them before the touchdown, then I can live with one turnover. If they're only
Yeah, but it's so different than this team. Like, every time something's gone wrong this year like that, we go answer on offense with like an 8-minute drive. The parallel that I drew to this game that made me think of like what has happened in my brain that's like this was our Packers game at Lambeau early in the year, where we just dusted a team in the first half, and we let the Packers back into that game a little bit, but then we went on a 9-minute just gut-wrenching clinch the game drive. And this team has that in them, but the lights were brighter. Maybe it's the crazy Ayuk play. They just blew. They JJ McCarthy and Blake Corum did in East Lansing. They blew it. They didn't communicate. They fumbled instantly. That is the play that matters the most. And even more, I would say I would go, that is the most reason for the loss, is just fumbling on the first play of a drive, giving them 7 points. 2, you could argue that the not downing it at the 1 mattered more than the Vildor play, because tie game 24-24. You put them on the 1. You flip field position. Our offense gets the ball back around our own 45, maybe. Let's call it 40. DPJ has a 10-yard return. You go in. You go up 31-24. Completely different game. You give them breathing room to the 20. They go down, kick a field goal, and then it becomes tougher.
I think the whole point of this is that there were so many plays that they just had to capitalize on one of them, and they probably at least get to overtime. And they failed in every single one of those plays. They did not.
The margin of error in the NFL playoffs is just like.
We even had enough room for error because of the great first half and the lead we built. We had room to make a couple errors, and we just made every error possible.
But our errors were like
game changing, every single one.
But and even with that too,
you still were right there.
Yep. Even
still
with that,
had the ball down 3 with a chance to go
2 or 3 times on third and long to sack Brock Purdy, and he escapes.
Yeah, and he runs for 35 yards. Yep, those crushed me. Those were soul crushing.
And to the point of the mindset, the whole entire when this awful stretch was, I was just saying out loud, we just need one thing to go our way, one thing, and then every
the JMO thing. I thought we were back.
Something bad would happen.
I did think the JMO thing. I thought we were back.
JMO steals the pick. JMO drops it. Then they get a pick out of it, and then he takes it back. And I'm like,
Jacob Treadaway versus Wyatt in our 5th grade, 6th grade game. Just snatched a completion out of an interception somehow. And then whenever I see a play like that, I think of that because I was just so baffled.
Zach Watkins versus Lincoln. Senior year.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He did that too.
So we're going down, and then it gets to another 4th down. And this one was just tough. I've watched Brian Baldinger broke the play down, and when rewatching it today, it just got blown up. And as much as we love him, Amonra got absolutely blown up at the line of scrimmage on a press. He total whiplash. And then him and Laporta are in the same spot as JMO's crossing. So there's 3 of our players just stacked up in a row, and Jared just has nowhere to put the football. And rolled to his right. The 4th and 3. They just blew it up.
An absolute brilliant call by the 49ers.
And they they faked man. They were in zone, and our guys didn't run the good routes at all. It just sucks.
We didn't get
our man beater called.
All right, what was the point of the game where you guys were like? I mean, I know this is a point for Evan's going to be a lot earlier than Grant or I, but what was the moment in the game where we lost? When did you actually believe in your brain that we were going to lose?
Well, when we didn't get the onside kick, actually, because I kept saying I just kept naming. I was like, the Lions miracle. I can't wait to tell my grandkids about the Lions miracle. I was just feeling it.
I was laying on the floor, just chucking the PBR.
What was the moment?
The real play was the Gibbs fumble. The Gibbs fumble when I went numb and I thought I was watching a horror.
Lost it right then.
Yes, that was the actual football moment. Yep. Mine was nope, not our day.
Because I always had so much trust in the offense, all year. Grant already talked about, the drive. I think the last time Brock Purdy escaped, good pass rush, spin move, a fingertip away, and he escapes for that one last time. I think that was when you said it's over. It's just not.
McCaffrey broke
stop them.
3 tackles, gained 25 down to the goal line, and he bounced on his head. And then they that run where they get in. I don't know. They got to the 5. Then Elijah Mitchell
scrambled right before that, so I figured it was over.
Yeah, I was in my head, I'm we're down 3. We can hold them to a field goal if we just keep them outside the 5-yard line because they're going to just pound it in if they get there. And then literally the next play, McCaffrey goes 25 yards. I'm like,
that's what they do.
Yeah, it's over. And that's when I laid on the floor. I was like, this sucks. This is terrible. This is just one of the worst feelings of all time.
And it's very rare feeling too, Alex, talking about X and things you see that help put things into context. Warren Sharp at
Who
Sharp
did
Football
next play, Alex?
tweeted out teams to blow a 17-plus
No,
point
I don't wanna hear
halftime
this.
lead in the playoffs and lose by 3+ points. So not only you blow it, but they beat you by 3+. The Lions yesterday. Falcons versus the Pats. The
Which is
1993 Oilers versus the Bills.
Never forget.
And the ironic thing of this game, they showed it at the break.
57.
1957 49ers versus us. That's crazy. 4 times this has ever happened.
That was our last time we won a road playoff game.
The second time that a team has ever blown a 17-point lead in the NFC Championship game, which was the Falcons versus the 49ers on that game I referenced in the voice memo I sent everyone in the morning. Now we are a part of that history, but negatively.
You know what you said, Grant? You said, we'll never forget this game for the rest of our lives. And yeah,
We won't.
I wish I could forget it. I really wish that I could delete this from my memory.
I said I wish it was good, not bad, but it turns out it was bad in the worst way.
Now,
any positives?
I was just going to say,
One less negative. I sent in a group chat today.
we don't need to talk about that, Evan. Not
Yeah,
today.
we should. It should be.
We should talk about it.
We
Get
should.
2 big pass deflections early in the game.
On the first drive,
start
and then
there.
do shit afterwards.
I said
We
early
should.
in the game. You did not show up in this game.
When I rewatched it, I paid close attention to 97 because I know he's getting a lot of flack. Not just Evan, like national people wondering like, why does he just disappear? I think both things can be true. I think you want him to play better, and I hope in this situation next year he will, and I still have confidence in him. But there also is a reality to this, watching it back, is they did a very, very good job of not even dealing with 97 this entire game. Going back and looking at in the second half when they got going on offense, they kept running swing passes to the left to Debo and to Kittle and McCaffrey, all to the left, away from Hutch. And that's just something that they were smart. They put our secondary on islands, and we can't tackle. We just can't. We could not tackle any of their players. He needed to be better. The only other defenses I'll have, if you go back and watch Purdy's pick, that's a direct result of Hutchinson just collapsing the pocket, forcing him to step up a little bit, and then Pascal tips his hand. He had plays that did impact this football game that are not box score. He does need to do more, especially in the run game too. Having no tackles is crazy. He should have at least had some tackles in the run game, but he did impact the game. Like, his effort led to that pick. And as much as it sucks, on those Purdy scrambles, I watched them back, and it's almost a catch-22 where like Hutch is actually doing his job, collapsing the pocket, causing Brock to move, and our defensive tackles are just getting pancaked. And again, it goes to like, he does need more help, and I'm not trying to just make excuses for him because he does need to play better. But on the backbreaker play, I almost took a screenshot. I couldn't because YouTube TV doesn't let you take screenshots. Jack Campbell was our defensive tackle on the Purdy scramble. He ran at the guard, did a spin move into the center, opens up a wide gap. Hutch pushes into Purdy, short arms Evan, can't grab him. And then Anzalone is standing as a QB spy, staring at Purdy, and just is too slow for Brock Purdy. And that is just the fact of a play like that, where Hutch does his job. We'd like him to finish the job. He should. He probably holds himself to that standard. But he made impactful plays, not as many as he should have. And we have no defensive tackles if it's not McNeil. And McNeil can't play every single snap. And in those scrambles, McNeil I think he was in the game for at least one of them, but he got blocked out of the play. And it sucks. And that's my 97 thoughts.
I have a question.
He does need to be better. But it's not like Bosa had 2 sacks, but we gave Bosa those sacks. It's not like Bosa wrecked the game, I would say. So
He had a couple
I'm
of
comparing him.
pressures. Your fake stat that you like. He did have a couple of those that were nice.
He
and
did.
important.
He did. He affected. You could say he affected that 4th down to Reynolds easily.
Now,
100%.
This is not we're not discussing 97 that much. We don't need to, because we know Evan's thoughts, we know Grant's thoughts. I'm just somewhere in the middle. My real question is, now we need one more doomsday conversation about this. The tweet that you sent, Dan telling the locker room, I don't know if that might be your best chance, blah, blah, blah. And then we were just talking about the week before, is like being a Bills fan, the worst thing imaginable. Are we on a Niners arc where you think maybe we'll have a couple tough years, we'll lose games like this, but then we'll break through. We'll make the Super Bowl. It'll be great, blah, blah, blah. Or are we headed for more of the doomsday scenario where clearly we're a good team. We're going to make the playoffs. And we're going to keep making the playoffs, I'd like to think. But we'll just keep losing the big one over and over again. I know we've lost one, so it's not really comparable yet. But if you had to pick the trajectory of this team, which one would you side?
I think it's the 49ers had to learn from their experiences.
I think everybody does.
Super Bowl, lose, the NFC Championship, Brock Purdy gets injured, lose.
They lost two in a row in the NFC Championship.
Dan is a little too brutally honest, but he is brutally honest. It is going to be tougher next year. Tougher schedule, tougher opponents.
The NFL's hard.
Packers look good.
Super hard.
Packers finally found something. But I think the good thing is the NFC is completely wide open. You have the 49ers, you have us, and I would say the Packers are probably the third best team. Cowboys are a dumpster fire. Eagles are a dumpster fire right now. I mean, on paper, the Cowboys and Eagles are going to be favorites just because it's the NFC East, and I don't think it's going to be where we always lose the big one.
The Lions team is going to break within 3 years.
I honestly think this team can.
I think if they don't, you have 3 more seasons to make the Super Bowl. Let's say hypothetically, do they get that?
Not including this.
Not including this year. You have 3 more cracks at it.
So
are they
25, 26, and 27? So by January 29th of 2027, are we saying we made it to at least one Super Bowl?
I think so. Yeah.
I think so too.
After my rewatch, I felt better about it because the first half was real. And that's not something that it wasn't fluky. We were just manning them up and blowing them off the football. Was real.
And you got to think that we're going
to get. It was disgusting that we played our best half of football and our absolute worst half of football in the NFC Championship game.
Third quarter is under Dan Campbell continue to be a problem.
Yep, second half
that has been a trend since the beginning. We're like the worst third quarter team in the history of the league.
And funny enough, it's really third quarter offense. Like our offense just was nothing. Just in the second nothing. Half.
No just third quarter offense ever in any game.
It's
like
nothing.
You look at every box score; it's terrible.
Now, granted, we fumbled on one of the possessions, and we had a drop. So 2 things that just should never happen. So our offense would have been good. It's part of it. Here's the thing, Alex, and you're going to hate this because you hate the Michigan Lions connection. But I am someone who draws on my experiences.
Our third year, we're finally going to break through, Grant?
No, it's more what needs to change. And we all know it's the defense, but I was after drawing parallels, even in the moment when we got stopped on the 4th and 2, the first one in the second half, I was like, oh, that's Michigan against Washington. We gifted them momentum back into the game, and Washington went and scored. And we come out, and Michigan was able to win that game and pull away because their defense was so good. It just did not matter. And that's where the Lions have to marginally get closer to that, where we build a lead like that. And Dan gets to get crazy and go for it. Our defense can actually hold up and not just give up 27 unanswered. Now, granted, Michigan did not fumble on the 25-yard line to start a possession. So that's putting your defense not for success. We need to clean things up, but you just got to get the defense marginally better in these games, and your offense is legit, and I don't see it going anywhere. Now, granted, Ben Johnson's a massive wild card, but I have faith in the team that they're too talented. Another thing that absolutely pissed me off looking back at the game, and they said it on the broadcast, but I missed it. Amon-Ra St. Brown was potentially, besides Jahmyr Gibbs, the skill guys, the best player on the field in the first half. He was insane. 3rd and 18, another long conversion he had. Just crazy stuff. We did not throw him a football until midway through the 4th quarter. And granted, our possessions were cut short due to mistakes and drops, but he had 2 catches for 14 yards in the second half, and that's just unacceptable. You have to force feed that guy touches, whether it's just screen passes or whatnot, but we just got to we have Jahmyr Gibbs was generational. Jahmyr Gibbs was in a different level tier of human being in the first half. That stutter step that he did on 3rd and 12 was unbelievable. He just froze another man, a defensive back who's fast as hell, in his tracks and ran to the sideline. So we have the pieces. We just need to use them more, but really goes back to defense. I don't know.
Trivia question. What do you guys think we average in the 3rd quarter this year? Points scored.
3.
20 football games.
football games.
We played 20
We
football
scored
games?
we scored on the
Oh,
our second, what do you want to call it? Our second half.
Don't
first
try to
drive,
just total it, Evan.
Oh, stop, Alex. Shut up. We scored 5 times of the 20 games we scored on the first drive.
Evan would
the
take
second
this
half.
super seriously.
Well, I was doing the stats last week of how many times we actually scored on the first. I accused Ben Johnson of never scoring, then I looked it back up. There was a stretch where we scored 4 of the 5 games.
A little better than maybe you think.
I think it's going to come out to average of like 9.4 points per third quarter.
4.4.
Oh.
And
That's
there's
bad.
like 7 games with 0.
Yeah.
89 points scored in the third quarter this year. 20 games.
I will say a funny joke. A funny joke
be.
that I saw to laugh at our pain is that people
Or
were
don't.
I saw like a clip of it was the tin cup scene where he keeps hitting it in the water, and someone's like Dan Campbell when going for 4th downs, and it made me laugh. It did. I needed a comedic relief, and that made me laugh. I don't think he's that crazy, but I can see why outsiders think like this guy's just a nutcase.
Is it absurd to think that we won't make the playoffs next year?
No, we won't.
Yeah, if we don't get a wild card, that would be
work
pretty.
Friend and I
doomsday.
went through the schedule today. It's 12 wins and it's 10 minimum. So we're okay. We're gonna make the playoffs.
What divisions do we play?
But-
We play AFC South, right?
Yeah, the AFC South I chalked up to 4 wins.
And we get the rematch with the
least
49ers.
3.
Okay, primetime game. Thank you.
Yeah,
Is that home or
just so
away,
you guys
Alex?
know, if the 49ers win the Super Bowl, I guarantee we'll be opening the season in San Francisco next year. Again, kicking off the NFL season. Because we're at San Francisco. Their first game of the year will be Detroit at San Francisco on NBC.
I don't think they'll pick the Lions again.
Oh, we're gonna have at least 5 primetime games.
Yeah, but
At
I don't
least.
think they'll pick the Lions again because I think teams will be like,
I don't know, Evan. That game yesterday was like galore for the NFL.
Yeah, it was sick. It was a great football game. It was crazy. It had everything.
I
If
think
we
they want the
weren't-
new teams.
If our
I
team
think
wasn't
they'll
in that
pick
game, that'd be
an AFC
awesome.
team. I honestly think they'll pick
Michigan
an AFC
TCU.
team.
Depends who wins the Super Bowl. If it's the Chiefs, they'll be Chiefs Ravens or something like that.
Can I
But-
tell you guys a dark thought based on Alex's playoff theory?
I guarantee it'll be the Chargers 49ers. That's who would be the first game.
Ew. Oh, I forgot.
It's a choose your own adventure of how you want to approach this. If you're positive or negative, little
I'm a
red
little
meat
worried.
to either. So if you're a positive fan, you're going to stick to that. We have the executive of the year. He won the award. We have a great coach and culture, and we're going to be like the Niners. And we built ourselves in their image. If you are a negative fan, a doomsday fan, you look at the prestige of our franchise and what we've known our whole life. And we are the Jacksonville Jaguars almost beating the Pats, and we just never sniff it again. And we don't do well.
No.
I'm just
We're not
saying
bad.
that's the negative.
The Jags roster was blown up the next year.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm just saying
They
that's
lost
the
all their
dark
best
side.
players. We're not losing. We're all of our best players are back next year.
Oh, I'm with you. I'm positive.
And we can
I'm just
sign
saying.
contract extensions to all of them. They're
And
officially
you know what?
eligible to sign contract extensions.
People want to play in Detroit now. We can get free agents because of Dan.
I think I think Dan can steal 1 or 2 free agents.
You can get guys to get in.
Right now, I see we have like $58 million in cap space.
We have the second most cap space next year.
No turds though. Chris Jones takes off a lot of plays.
Dude, if we had
He's
Chris
really
Jones
good,
and
though.
Elaine McNeil, I think
That would help Hutch tremendously.
tremendously, dude. He's the
Hutch would
best.
have 19 sacks.
He's the best defensive tackle in the NFL.
Still want Max Crosby. I don't care.
No, he's
Yo,
not
that'd be great
available.
too.
Huh?
Yeah, they hired Pierce,
He's not
unfortunately.
Trades. Everyone's available, Alex. He's not a
You
quarterback.
know who's from
Everyone's
Detroit?
available.
Sauce Gardner. Why don't we just trade for
Yeah.
Sauce Gardner?
I'd give it all.
He'd lock down one side of the field that would make us tremendously better.
Is he actually that good?
Oh,
He is that
yeah.
good. He's that good.
He's a physicality merchant, but they let him play because he's sauce.
He's that good.
All right. We talked about the devastating parts. Can we talk about the peak? Because I have a clear inflection point.
No,
where it
I
was
don't really
football
want to talk
nirvana.
about the
It's
happiness.
the peak
It was
just keep
football.
crashing down so fast. Like, take me back
It's
to
not-
halftime where everything was good. I was
I
enjoying my
can't peak
third
in this
Coney
game,
dog.
Grant. There's nothing I can get
That-
happy about reliving this game.
Dude, that Gibbs touchdown was like a euphoric experience. It was out of body. I was like, oh my God, you just made 15 dudes miss on a pitch play.
I remember
From, like, the
exactly what I
15.
did. I was
And the way he
stuffing my
like
face-
just looked back
stuffing
and
my
was,
face
like,
with the
walked
Coney
in
dog
the end
just
zone.
down my throat, and he scores, and I'm just
Gibbs gang.
Dude, we should
Man.
be celebrating the Lions winning right now. This is why this is the worst. It's the worst.
Vegas. When Gibbs scored, I saw Vegas in my eyes. I was like,
I
oh
saw
my God.
I saw us lifting Lombardi. I was like, we're winning the
Jesus.
whole thing.
No, if we're
You
ever
didn't
being
think
totally
that?
trustworthy, I don't think we would have beat the Chiefs. And I still don't think we would
Lifting
have
a
won the game.
Lombardi. Let's slow down a little bit, okay?
Evan, in the heat of the moment, we're a shit ton of points. We're killing them on the road. I'm like, yeah, we're gonna win it all. And then thinking today, I was like, we weren't beating Patrick Mahomes, which is fine. But to be there would have been better than to not. So that's what sucks.
Yeah. It's a good reminder for fans everywhere, too. Like, just one play at a time. Football is one of the longest games. Like, so much happens in a football
I
game.
even said at halftime, my dad was like, oh, this is awesome. I'm like, yeah, we are nowhere near the end of this game.
No, I didn't celebrate for a second. I was not thinking
I
about
never
anything other than, like,
Yeah.
The only thing that-
back. I was thinking at halftime how the Niners could come back and how it could get doomsday. And they
Yeah.
did it in a way I did not plan for.
that's a good point, too. Because I had written down, if you told me we blew the game, I would have thought Bosa strip sack Goff. But this was a way I never even expected the way this happened. Like, I just never would have anticipated this series
Never
of
could have
events.
drawn that up.
That Goff
I
and
thought
Gibbs
maybe
would
they would just-
miscommunicate.
Yeah, I just thought maybe our defense just gave up a touchdown every single time and that maybe we scored once or twice, but it wasn't enough. They
I
just
think it
kept
hurts a
scoring.
little bit more that it wasn't like our star players effing up.
Hmm.
Like Gibbs
Yeah.
technically did fumble. That was one of them, but all the other
That
times
was
it
so-
was. I
that
think
was
it hurts
just a
more
punch
because
in
it
the
wasn't a
dick.
stars.
Gibbs was the lowest moment.
That was the lowest sports moment I've had in some
And I
time.
knew he recovered it instantly. I knew it fell right in that guy's lap.
That's just the worst, like, sinking feeling. Like, everything's
think
going
Marissa
wrong and it hits. And
I
you're
think
like-
Marissa let out like a, oh my God, are you serious? And I was like, yeah, that just happened.
And when my mom and sister text in our group chats, I'm like, even they're upset. Like, this is the worst.
I just picture Alex looking at his phone, seeing those, and just chucking his
Oh,
phone
I-
through the front
I put
window
my
of
phone
the
away.
living room.
Put it
Just-
away. I plugged
I just
it in
picture you
my
chucking your phone
bedroom,
through the
closed the
window.
door. Was
Just
done
absolutely
with it.
through the window of the front living room.
The one thing that I saw a reporter's quote Dan of what he told the team at halftime that just irked me.
At
Going back
halftime or
to-
the end of the game?
What did he
Halftime.
say at halftime? Because I'm on Twitter.
He said, well, it's paraphrasing. Like, we don't
I was
know what his
worried about
speech
what
was.
his halftime speech was. That's all I was
He's-
thinking about at halftime too. I was like, what are you going to say to this team to keep your foot on the gas?
He said, like, we got to stay focused, like, to the extent, and again, paraphrasing what he said to reporters, he was like, we knew that Niners were a good team and that we'd have to weather a storm. And that Coach Romano used to do that for Tecumseh. And I just don't understand why you would like tell your team verbally, like, this team's going to make a run. Like, why would you say that out loud? Like, speak it into existence that they're good and they're going to, like, I know everyone knows they're good and they're going to keep playing hard, but maybe say, like, let's focus. Let's keep our foot on the gas. Let's go bury this team. Like, why not that? Why not? Oh, they're good. They're good. We got to weather their storm. Like, run through their face again.
On that note, Kyle Shanahan's pregame speech was so shitty. Like, no wonder they came out like ass. Like, based on what Aaron Andrews was telling us, how he was just like, yeah, like, we just have to do us. You know, we just got to be ourselves. Like, we don't, like, we know that the Lions think like they're coming in, they're bringing all this grit and blah, blah, blah. We got to be ourselves. We know this. We've been here before. They haven't. Like, that was a direct quote. We've been here before. They haven't. And I was like, but you were like trying to piss us off more. Like, I don't get this. That is like the worst pump up speech I've ever heard in my life. This is the NFC Championship game. You should make it bigger. Why? I don't get why coaches try to like kill the moment. You should make it huge because people respond to that. They get jacked up and they make plays. Some But like your bad plays, it doesn't matter. They're not going to be in the game. They can on some
Like-
special teams, like kick return or something.
And 100%. And I know college is different and it's more rah-rah, but could you ever imagine Kirby Smart telling Georgia at half if they're up on Alabama, oh, Alabama's good, weather their storm. They know let's go and make them never wish they stepped on the field with us. Like,
Dude,
bury this
I'm
team.
so anti, like, trying to dampen the moment. No, this is a huge moment. Get going. Like, kill them.
Like,
Just get going.
Let's just go stop them 3-and-out and bury this 49ers team.
Yes, like,
no,
why would
we're
you
not
not say
weathering.
that?
We're not weathering their storm. We're not gonna. We know they're good. You don't have to say they're good. Everyone knows they're good.
Like, go out and keep doing it. Like, why would you even mention that? I don't get why coaches do that.
If he did say that, and again paraphrasing what he told reporters, I was just like, damn, that's a miss. Like, that's not our mentality.
I get it. These are like grown ass men, like actual grown ass adults. So maybe it's a little different than college, but like, I just wouldn't try to like soften the moment. I would try to like foot aggression. We got there from being super aggressive. We ran some end around for a 50-yard touchdown to start the game. Like, what? Where did that go? Where did it all go?
Yeah. Like, we're staying focused. We're not taking it for granted, but we're full go. We're pedal to the metal. We're gonna try to win by 50. We're just gonna try to run it up.
Yes. Like they did in Last Chance U. They always say that at half, like, let's go score 75. And they come out, they show the end scores like 82-0. You're like, yeah, it works, dude. Just go score. Don't change anything.
They do say that this 49ers are like the competition that they play down there, EMCC.
Yeah, it's the same thing, dude. Just foot on the gas. I kept texting it. No one believed me. Well, Dan didn't even listen to me.
We should give credit to like any team like less than the Niners doesn't pull off that comeback. Like, they give Brock Purdy credit. They
might be the team of destiny.
Purdy looked wishy-washy in the first half, but he did not mess up. He tried to mess up. He was a little erratic, but he made the running plays when it mattered. He played good enough to win, and they took advantage of every single mistake we made. And that's what great teams do. So you have to give credit to them.
I agree. Him one time.
Debo was a problem.
Yeah, we had no answer for Debo.
The
Kittle didn't do anything, really.
Nope, he did not. The saddest thing was
Aiden Hutchinson. Evan.
That doesn't take much.
That I knew that clip. I wasn't going to text it, but yeah, no, he has to do better. But also, like, Hutchinson is crashing down, playing a little out of control, which he tends to do, but he's crashing down the run, and Kittle just took his momentum to the ground.
You can say the same thing, because on J-Mo's touchdown, the Lions didn't block Nick Bosa or Chase Young, and we scored a touchdown.
Did you guys see
Josh Reynolds was supposed to block Nick Bosa on that play, but he ran so far inside that Josh Reynolds had like no idea what to do.
Yeah,
and exactly. Chase Young was on the opposite side. We weren't going to block him anyways because the play's going the other way. We did block two of their best defensive ends.
Did you see Chase Young on the Gibbs touchdown?
That was crazy. I saw that quote tweet.
On the Gibbs touchdown?
See it, Evan? If you want that guy in Honolulu blue,
I do want that guy in Honolulu blue.
No, you do not. Watch that clip.
No, it actually is crazy how like he just does not try.
It's an NFC Championship game, and it was the worst effort play I've ever seen.
He made a couple of run stuffs, Evan. I don't think he's
2 tackles. Like, what are we talking about?
The Gibbs touchdown, he gives up, and he's like, he could breathe on Gibbs.
Well, if he made 2 tackles, that's double
Evan,
what our boy had.
Please watch the clip.
I'm trying to find out right now, buddy.
He is not a Dan Campbell culture guy. He would not fit here.
Everything I'm finding is of the Bears game, not the 49ers.
He would not fit.
The saddest part, the part that made me the absolute saddest of this whole situation was they had a clip of Panay and Hutch walking off together, and Panay he saw it finally.
Yeah, we're looking at it.
Panay just couldn't lift his head up, and he looks so sad, and I feel awful for Panay Sewell because he is the best offensive line. He's the most valuable offensive lineman in the NFL because he's young still.
You would say the same thing about like 95% of this team, though. But yes, I'm with you, Alex. He is half jog.
That is not Detroit grit right there. He's not built for this city.
No.
One play.
People would turn on him
People
so
would hate
fast.
him. People would hate him.
I
Yeah.
don't think they would.
Evan, that play is embarrassingly bad.
He's a front runner. He's like AJ Hogarth.
He's like James
when
Houston.
things are good.
Oh,
he's-
AJ's been playing pretty good. Don't do that.
What's the record?
But no,
Alex? 12-8. Does it really matter?
Panay broke my
Yeah,
heart.
it will
That
when we
was-
win the next 11.
Alex, we're a 10
23
seed.
and 8.
Let's just face it. We're 7
No.
through 10 seed. We got to face a 2 seed in the first weekend.
That's fine. Did it last year.
Oh, also,
To play North
this
Carolina.
isn't new because we've watched him against Baltimore do this, but the flea flicker was open, and JMO just can't track the football very well. Like that was a
That was a
touchdown
tough.
would've-
That was a tough
Went through his
catch. At
hands.
least in his defense,
it went through his hands.
I feel like when you run that fast, maybe it's harder to.
No, because he slowed up.
You know?
He slowed up halfway through it. And then he had to speed it
he
up.
still had 2 feet on him.
Got to catch it.
JMO's speed.
Got to catch
Then
it.
he makes a contested catch on a 110 mile an hour fastball. Like that is not
Crazy.
the Jameson Williams. I know.
It's great. He's like good if it's tracking it is a problem. Over his shoulder is a problem, which is tough because he's a deep threat.
Crazy how JMO does show up in big games. He's got that.
Yeah,
He's got that
was
dog.
promising. And then a game of inches. Goff still played amazing. The peak of Goff was the Nirvana moment when he threw that risky kind of like back shoulder half turn throw to Amonra, and then we scored on the Gibbs
Dude.
pitch a play later. Goff was in his bag at that point.
Again,
but
converting 3rd and 18s and 3rd and 15s like it was nothing in the first half. I was like,
on the same drive, 3rd and 12 on a Gibbs run, 3rd and
Yeah, that
18 to
was awesome.
Amon-Ra, and a 3rd and 6 to Amon-Ra, all on the same drive.
I think that
3rd
12
and
was that the audible run?
run to the left
Gibbs to the
behind
left.
Panay. We just followed Panay to the
Audible.
easy.
Because the 49ers put 4 of their defensive linemen on the right side, and then Goff saw that and was like, okay, we'll audible.
I just felt like
But-
in the first half we were so creative. We were running like Sewell in motion. We had Dan
We were
Skipper on
creative. We had
and
flea flicker
Sewell on
on
tight
that.
ends. Yeah.
Well, we gave
just-
up on Dan Skipper when he was in there and he had to try to block Nick Bosa, and Nick Bosa threw him aside like he freaking stuffed animal.
That was tough. Montgomery should have chipped him there. He didn't even.
And then I was like, oh my gosh, Sewell gave up a sack, and then they replayed it, and it was Dan
No.
Skipper who gave up a sack.
Yeah.
yeah, Sewell had to
But
take
then-
the other blitzer.
On the Jared Goff talk, he still has limitations because there was 2 plays watching
So
back.
slow,
Game of
dude.
inches. One, the Gibbs touchdown to end the first half. He was open. It was a hard throw moving to his left, but like the top tier QBs, they hit that throw. We go crazy. We're up 28-7. Instead, you settle for 3. And then also crazy, like long Texas route on Fred Warner by Gibbs there. That was disgusting how he set
Oh,
that up.
Oh,
That was a
I
naughty route.
I think
Naughty.
Gibbs. I think Goff thought Gibbs was going to break that over the middle
I
more.
think it was an option of
And-
some sort.
Gibbs just carried that because Warner wasn't following him with him. I think
Well,
Goff
he juked Warner out
thought
of his
he was going to bend
shoes.
it.
It's also impossible throw. Like
It was a
Goff
tough
is
throw.
moving back to his left with a defender in his face, trying to throw it over Fred Warner's head. But like I said, the jaw-dropping QBs in this league do make that throw. And the one that was more easy that really Goff should have hit was it led to the it was on the drive that
Sam
Reynolds
Laporta.
dropped the 4th and 2 was Laporta. He had it at the 10-yard line over the defender's
I
head.
think that's
out of his
that's another one
fingertips.
that earlier in this year they were talking about. Dan Orlovsky's breaking down the Chiefs and how like the miscommunication there in some of the routes, and this is one of the routes is where like if you get a guy stacked up and you beat him man to man, that 10 of the time the quarterbacks expect you just to keep on carrying that north and south, and he'll lead you more vertical down the field. But the route is designed for the corner, and I think that's what threw it off, is where Sam broke that off just ever so slightly, which threw off the timing because Goff kind of led him up the field.
I couldn't tell if that was on Laporta or Goff or a mix of both. It
I
was
mean,
there,
obviously, it's
though.
always
Or
going to be on the
just-
quarterback because you have an open wide receiver and you're just supposed to connect. I mean, it's just that. I mean, it's a
Just
game.
feel
It's
bad.
a
Makes it
micromanaging
bad.
game of inches, a game of small details.
Yeah.
Just can't.
I think
can't
where
imagine
the
that
Goff and
Goff
Laporta probably made that catch probably 15 times this year. We just don't know it, but the one time they don't connect, obviously we remember it.
Sorry,
They
guys.
have him too, like,
signing Goff after this game.
Yeah, he won his
the
2
known
playoff
limitations.
games.
We signed him.
Yeah.
He wasn't the reason we lost the NFC
45
Championship
million.
game.
Oh no, trust me, he's my guy. He's my QB, and I want him back.
We needed
4
a
years,
right
45
tackle.
million.
Had to find a new
Like
right tackle.
hometown discount.
Got to find a new offensive guard. Got to find basically
Evan Taylor Decker's not leaving.
with the cap that he's making. Cut it out.
Evan, everybody that's decent makes money. Stop it.
Future show.
So, yeah,
It was always better, Alex.
To
It would be cool if we had a
end the
4th
Lions
round draft
talk.
pick that would actually play for us.
Stop it, Evan.
Yeah, Broderick Martin would be nice, but I guess he's not ready to go on the. We have Jack Campbell at defensive tackle, so
What about a different
Sick.
4th round pick?
Hendy.
Oh,
Well,
Instead
hey,
of him
if
holding
Goff
on
gets
to his
hurt,
shoulder pads the entire time.
emergency QB. God, I hope.
Golf goes
No,
down,
I
it
don't
doesn't
hope.
even freaking matter. You might as well just replace it.
I hope. I will just say this: it'd be sick if
He was
Hooker
good.
had to come in like Jalen Hurts and spell Goff for a half because he got banged up and he won a game, and then we could just come on here and laugh at Evan. That would be a
We've
dream.
laughed at Evan a lot this year, though. He's had some bad takes.
I have not had bad takes. Alex, name one of them.
Gibbs. I hated Gibbs.
I was part of the Gibbs
You
game.
did hate Gibbs.
Alex, I never
You
said I
wish-
hated the players. I said I hated where we drafted them at. That's all. I never said I hated the
You
players.
still- You still want Thibodeau over Hutch, which is crazy.
Thibodeau's finger reaches Brock Purdy's leg. Just
Thibodeau
FYI.
subs himself out. Thibodeau doesn't even play that snap.
I
Probably sitting on the
guarantee
bench.
Thibodeau has a tackle in that game.
Okay, probably.
You've had some bad takes this year, Evan. It's okay.
Alex,
We
he
all
didn't
do.
record a
We all do.
freaking tackle in the NFC Championship game.
Yeah.
And he's so on
That's-
the soul of the defense, and he can't even do anything. That's embarrassing.
He had a great end.
That was embarrassing. That was an embarrassing performance by AKA one of your best players on the team. And he tried to console Sewell as they're walking off. If I was Sewell, I wouldn't even talk to that soul. I'll talk to you in August when it actually
He
matters.
forced a pick.
So are we going to be back in the NFC Championship game? That's the final question.
Yes, that is
Are
the
we
100%
back in the
the
NFC
goal next
Championship
year. Is the
game next
NFC
year?
Championship game. Anything less than NFC Championship game is a failure.
Bust.
And I'll say that right now.
The expectations
It's just-
are
yeah.
through the roof now. But I agree. Like, it's got to be. You reached that point. I saw
that's what I'm
Herman Moore
hoping.
LinkedIn
That's what-
post today. He basically said, like, you're going to
What?
find out what guys are hungry. And
Treating LinkedIn
continue
like
to
it's
work to
Twitter
get to
or
that.
what?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, that's what Alex is on now.
I mean, I just came up on my feet. I'm like, oh, this is like Twitter. This is cool. And he's
So,
like, yeah,
I guess that
find
kinda-
out.
That answers your guys' question that listener Josh had. Will we be contenders without Ben Johnson or with Aaron Glenn? So a little backhanded.
I still think
dig there,
Aaron
but
Glenn
I
is
think AJ 's a
scheme-wise
good
pretty
coach.
good. I think it's more like the talent obviously isn't just there yet. I mean,
He's doing more with
I-
less.
he's putting
The amount of
band-aids over
times-
cracks.
over 5 times at least in that game, like I didn't say it out loud because Marissa's not going to care, but I thought I cannot believe the personnel we have on defense in the NFC Championship game. Just like
Dude,
looking at
so bad.
because Rodrigo had to get in there and he made a play, but like Rodrigo's
Oh
back, he's a
my
6th
God.
rounder. Phil
Rodrigo
Dor,
pick,
practice squad,
fever
like,
dream.
Shut. Just
Phil
that might have been
Dor,
Nirvana.
Phil Dor,
Kaminsky.
Melifonwu, like besides his little like couple of games, Melifonwu like historically kind of
His
garbage.
missed sack.
Oh, well, that's when things were going bad. I kept saying one thing to go right. We just whiff a sack on Brock
can't
Purdy
do
and then
that.
complete the use check.
You can't do that.
Anzalone is like
Oh.
our best player on
Music
defense.
stunts
He's
on us
not
with the
even
toe
good.
drag swag as a fullback.
Oh, so sick of that loser.
Again, I really like Anzalone, but right now what we're watching with him is when Michigan had Josh Ross, and I thought he was awesome, and then we got Junior Colson. Like, there's still room to vastly improve that room.
It's called
More
speed.
athletes.
You need somebody that can
Plus,
run
he got-
sideline to sideline.
He got dusted by Brock Purdy on the biggest scramble of the game. He just
Can you
couldn't stay in
imagine if
front
we
of
had
Brock
like,
Purdy.
You need speed.
oh, name a fast, sweet linebacker. Roquan Smith, Patrick Queen.
No, the guy from the guy coming out from Harold Perkins from LSU next year.
Oh.
He's also more of an edge rusher.
Definitely
though.
not.
He's more of an
almost
edge.
a Michigan State player.
Yes, he
He's
was.
more of an edge rusher.
We were his top 5.
He visited,
Visited
but
us.
that doesn't. Yeah,
Wow.
shocking.
He visited
honestly.
us.
He's
Also-
really good.
Question. Here's a statement too.
Draft
If we do
season.
If we keep CD Deuce,
No.
even if we don't, you need to lay a dude out if you're going to get a 15-yarder like that. Like, you need to bury that dude if
Yeah,
you're
that's
going
soft.
to do that.
That was so
stupid.
soft that it was almost not a 15-yard penalty.
Talk
I
about
agree.
a front runner, dude. He is quite a bit of a front runner.
Yes and no.
He's very
no,
AJ Hogarth.
you're gonna have
He's
some
very
tough
good,
roster
and he talks a
decisions.
lot.
No, Alex, the difference is he talks even if, like, he talked at the start of the season before we were good. Like, he just talks. He just talks in general. Even if he's bad,
Yeah.
he talks.
Yeah, I guess what we said is, like, it's okay to have a couple of those guys on your team. You know what I was thinking about?
But again, yeah.
Emmanuel Mosley instead of Vildor in the biggest moments would have been cool. Remember that signing? Just didn't work
Happened
out
to
because he
him,
got injured
Mosley.
all year.
Did he get injured?
Yeah.
Didn't he get injured in the
Panthers
second
game
game?
went out. Panthers
First
game I was
snap
there.
he came back in.
He tore his ACL
Oh my
again.
gosh, Grant. Okay, so Friday night, totally way off topic. So supposedly at Ford Field, you can just like go to any game and then click on anywhere in the stadium, and there's just random pictures of the fans
Oh, this is
in your seats.
This is so good.
Okay.
So I was talking with somebody that was at that Panthers game, and they're just nonchalant,
Yeah.
like, dude, this is pretty cool. Like they zoomed in on themselves, or like they're way up in like a corner section or whatever. And the guy was like, yeah, so I just was like randomly clicked it. He said, yeah, I just randomly clicked it on the 50-yard line. Guess who he clicked on? He clicked on your mean mug, Larry, Lance, and Ryan. And he said he almost shit himself for how shocked he was. He's like, oh my God, I know these people.
It's funny. It's
Wait,
funny.
do you find this online?
I think so. He was just talking about how it's like either the Lions app or Lions like Ford Field something. He's like, they
It's
just
like when I
take
found
pictures of
Evan's
like.
face at the Oregon game.
I knew that was happening because they brought out the camera and they announced it in the stadium. I was staring into that camera's soul.
Wow.
Oh, man.
I felt bad, Grant, because you had to sit next to Ryan the entire time.
It was a good
Ryan's a
time.
great guy.
That was a fun game. That was a party because we just blew them out of the gym.
Yeah.
Listener Wyatt, he said, how do you guys continue to have the will to live after the heartbreak? Work.
Pretend
You know
it
what
didn't
humbles you
happen.
pretty? I would say that, Grant. You know what humbles you pretty bad after a loss is that you have to
Work.
set your alarm for 4:30 a.m. the next day. You're like, what? Back
That's
at
tough.
Set mine for
Back
5
at
because I went to bed. I was like, I'm so mad. I'm just going to get in the gym at 5 a.m. Did not. But I tried. I fucking tried.
You knew you were gonna do it. That alarm went off, and you're just pissed at the world already. That's
Last few
wild.
things.
Jim
Maybe,
Harbaugh
like,
left.
No, NFL still. Super Bowl on the other side.
No.
Inevitable Chiefs.
It's not
Evans
legal in
Lamar take.
Louisiana.
Take a victory lap. Oh, Evan, take a victory lap. You deserve it.
Yeah.
Can't be trusted again.
Talk about
until he
something
proves
too
it.
big. Todd Monken froze in the biggest moment of his life. Everybody was praising him. Froze.
Someone at work tried
like
to say
that.
the Ravens loss was worse than the way the Lions lost. And I was like, wow.
Yeah, because the Ravens'
Oh, I agree.
identity was running.
I agree.
Okay, picture this, Alex. Picture you're in
I
the NFC
disagreed with
Championship
that.
game. You're in the NFC Championship game, and what is the Lions like backbone?
I already know you're
Martin,
going to say the
offensive line
Ravens.
play.
The Ravens called 6 designed runs in the football game.
Yeah.
For 5. They had 9 runs total. 3 of them were scrambles.
They had 6
And
of them
6
were
designed runs.
6 design runs
The
for the running
whole
backs.
game, and they were the best rushing team in the league.
Yeah, so picture the Lions just coming out and throw the ball 65 times, and Gibbs doesn't have like any handoffs. How pissed would you
Yeah,
be?
be very
And you're
mad.
still in the game, but you like just can't score.
You just can't move the ball.
Your defense rises up and smothers the best quarterback of our generation.
Well, and they turned the ball
of our
over
modern
3
generation.
times.
Zay Flowers is going to have to do a lot to earn his reputation back because boy did he look silly.
Career-ending type of
Who else fumbled
mistakes.
through the end zone?
And I'm not
Who
a
fumbled
CD Lamb did against us.
Who else? I thought there was another game that somebody did that.
The
We-
Bills, I think.
The Bills.
Oh, the Bills did it
Bills and
last
Chiefs
week.
game.
Chiefs did it last week. Mecole Hardman.
Good for
That would be
Marquez
so
Valdez
stupid if that
Scantling.
rule gets changed, Grant. I will riot out
I
in
hate
New York City.
I hate that Grant thinks it's the best rule in football.
Oh, I was joking. That's sarcastic. The rule's stupid.
I took
It
that
makes no
serious. That
sense.
pissed me off to no end. I was like, Grant, stop.
I think
You
the
think
rule
I
should
would think
stand.
that's the best rule?
I think the
in
rule should
sports?
stand.
Yeah, I was like, you're such an NFL nerd. I was like, maybe.
No,
The rule should
Oh,
stand.
it doesn't make sense.
It does.
It should be like a 15-yarder or something, like knock you back into field goal range.
I mean, I'm fine if they keep it. It's funny. Like, just
But,
don't do it.
Like Bill Belichick said, never extend it to 1. And if people just did that, it would never happen. It would happen
But
less.
they thought they made it.
Be fundamentally sound.
Yeah, Zay Flowers is in the doghouse.
Travis Kelce he baited us
Pretty
all
good
year.
still.
Looked washed, and then he
Pretty
just
good
absolutely balled.
still.
Oh, victory lap for me. Alex put me on the spot, and he laughed at me and called me a fool. But Kyle Hamilton looks like he could be a Hall of Famer.
Okay,
he
let's
is
back
a dog.
I thought he was very good. I just thought it was crazy you were going to say he was a Hall of Famer before you made the league.
Well,
He's
you
pretty good,
asked,
though.
you said
He's
on
on
the
pro.
couch who's most likely to be a Hall of Famer in this draft class, and I said Kyle Hamilton, and you were like, "What?
'Cause
Why?"
Who did I say? Micah Parsons?
You probably said Jordan Davis because Michael Parsons wasn't in that draft class.
Evan
I
was
said
the
Jordan
Davis guy.
This was the Hutchinson draft, so this was not Michael Parsons.
Definitely not that
I don't
guy.
remember. I don't remember who I liked.
You probably
It
said
was-
J-Mo,
No. No.
Waymo. The way he's playing,
I don't remember
maybe
Draft class. What year is this?
Trayvon Walker, Hutch,
Not him.
Thibodeau, Stingley, Sauce.
Alex picked what's his name? That went to the Raiders from the
Sauce?
Raiders. No, he picked
Oh, Ruggs.
the defensive end from Texas Tech.
Tyree Wilson.
No,
Yeah.
that was Ben's
That's who
pick.
Alex picked. No, that's
No,
who
but
Alex
that was
picked.
Ben.
Alex
that was a
said
different
he was going to be a
draft.
Hall of Famer.
That was
I
a different
never said
draft.
that. Evan's making shit up. I promise I never said that because I never liked him. I thought he was fat.
I've already bet Chiefs Super Bowl if that tells you where I'm at
I'm
for
not
that.
betting anything. I just lose.
I actually, you know what? I might go full heel, and probably because the San Fran just beat us, I might just be a big old Chiefs fan that night. I think I want the show of Taylor Swift and the gang.
I
think
don't.
it's be electric.
I'm cheering for
Yes.
CMC to get a Super Bowl
I'm cheering for the Chiefs for sure, just because of Evan's hate.
because CMC
I
should
just-
have
I
won.
just-
Should win the MVP.
I said a mean thing about CMC. Hand up.
Aw.
I was bad in the first
He's
half.
a nice guy.
Never forget when Grant, in the heat of a battle, called
mean
to my
It was the COVID
face, dude.
season. It was the COVID season.
when Rocket
And we
Watts
lost that
put
game.
freaking 30 on
We
you.
were trying to win a Big
No, when
Ten
we
title,
lost
Adam. We were trying to
at
win a Big
Michigan.
Ten title.
And spanked our ass, and Grant goes, dude.
Oh.
I went and watched the rest of the game in my room when Grant did that. I was pissed off. He's like, sorry, it was the heat of the moment.
But no, back on the record about football. I think Lions fans should feel better than Ravens fans today in a sick, twisted way.
I think so too.
I think both should feel like shit because they both should have made the Super Bowl.
But the Ravens
No,
is just
the
like,
Ravens
what,
played bad
what other
From kickoff to
what
end.
moves do you have? Yeah,
And they still had a chance. They're a joke.
Mike McDonald, but they're going to lose him.
It was
I hope
hilarious
so.
because all week I was telling everybody that would listen, I'm like, why would you bet against Patrick Mahomes until he loses? Like, I thought it was the most no-brainer pick of all time to just pick the Chiefs
Well,
until
did
they
you
lose.
bet it? Oh, I can't. I live
I
in
can't.
Texas.
Can't bet in here.
Oh, shout out to Connor on that angle. It wasn't all gloomy. Depressed me before bed. Opened my account to $150 profit because
J-Mo
took
last
Chiefs.
touchdown.
Chiefs spread, Lions spread, and JMO last tutty, and his tutty covered both those last two. Yeah, we were
What'd you
down
bet?
10. Yes, it
$5
covered.
to win 150.
No, it wasn't that long. It was like $2 to win like 40 for JMO, and then
those
the
are
other
all
two
separate.
I did like max unit. I did like $30, not max unit, but like doubled my units a lot for those $30 each. So I think I made around like my account increased by 150 when I went to bed. I was like, all right, not all as bad.
If you would have
put
bet
100.
J-Mo
I might put
first
100 on the
and
Chiefs.
last, but nice.
Hard transition. Jim Harbaugh left, and
Ben
Ben
Herbert
Herbert
left.
left.
And
Ben Herbert
I
left.
finally have something to celebrate.
Fucking no, Ben.
It's a strength and conditioning coach that made
He's the glue to the
built
program.
Michigan.
Oh.
And it's funny because Herbert's actually going to Michigan State because Smith is cooking.
The Herbert one really sucks because
Where's he actually going?
NFL
with Jim.
Chargers.
Oh,
He's that good.
isn't
That
Jesse
really
Minter
sucks.
going too?
Yes.
Yeah. Herbert more important. Herbert's the second most important, arguably up there with Harbaugh. Where if we kept Herbert, I'd feel really a lot better. That one sucked. Think about this. You lose the Lions game. You wake up at 8 a.m. To Michigan reporters saying Ben Herbert informed the team at today's lifting session he's leaving for the Chargers.
You know who was wrong about that
Fuck.
again? Chris Ballas. That guy's such a clown. We just talk about how wrong
No.
that guy is about everything. No, Chris
I
Ballas
never
said
saw
it too. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
How would you
that's
know?
The only,
You're not
that's
on
the only
Twitter.
thing. It's the only thing I can see on the message boards. It's Chris Ballas.
Oh, you still go on those?
I was during
He
the
lives
Harbaugh
on
thing.
that.
'Cause-
Grant, he lives on them.
No,
Yeah.
I don't go on
He
them
lives
now
on
because there's nothing to look at.
No, you look.
When
at
Harbaugh
him
was.
still.
No, I haven't.
If you don't
can
get on,
check
how'd you
my
know that
last
was
login. I said during the Harbaugh leaving thing. Like I would check it just to see if he was leaving.
It's just sad, this case, because NFL strength and conditioning coaches matter half as much as college because NFL players don't do that much work. Like in the season they lift, but they have personal trainers for like their actual body physical
They lift year
program.
round. They're like in awesome shape all the time. College kids get
Like you're
fat.
not like Herbert. You're not gonna like have everyone come in at 8 a.m. and douse them in water and tell them to lift what he would do to Michigan, like Navy SEAL training. You're not doing that in the pros. They're gonna laugh at you.
They don't need to.
They will not do that.
They're grown men. They know what to do for their bodies for the most part.
Well, I would argue it would help them, but like they won't buy
Some of
it because
them
they think
need
they're
it.
better than that.
JMO could use a couple pounds.
Now, you could argue that they are promoting who was his right-hand man, so maybe he'll keep the same tendencies, but I saw a lot more devastation messages from Michigan players about this than Harbaugh leaving. Like people just broken heart emojis, like, man, this sucks. This stings. Like this was big for the program that they lost him. So dark times.
So the only follow-up question
But one a natty. So
I'll set the over-under at 9.5 wins for Michigan. Instant reaction, 30 seconds to answer. What are you taking?
under, but 9-3.
Still feeling pretty good with no quarterback and no Jim Harbaugh.
But you can't really even discuss that until after the spring portal because I think we're going to do some damage in the spring portal when people leave their teams.
So many good players in that one.
Yeah, no, there historically usually are like a couple good quarterbacks that realize they're not going to win the job. Like so.
Yeah, so that means they're really good because they can't win their own job. They're not good enough to win the starting job, so they're good enough to be the Michigan quarterback of the defending national champions. Come on, Grant. That sounds ridiculous. You're better than that.
No, it doesn't.
You got an orgy party ready to go.
You're not having a serious conversation now. We're just not going to have a serious.
No, I just want Michigan to collapse next year. I'll be honest. I do want them to be terrible. It'd make me feel better.
It's fine. But that's the thing. Like, if it is, it's like, does not matter. As long as Ohio State doesn't win the title, it does not matter if they're terrible.
We got problems in Columbus. We might lose to them by 96 points.
I will be hammering Ohio State national title future so I can profit greatly if they do inevitably make that run.
I mean,
but you still have to deal with Ryan Day.
Travion Henderson
big game
now might
Will
win the
Howard.
Heisman, Alex. That's a future prop bet.
No.
With Will Howard. And
just 2 years ago.
Oh, wait, yeah. Will Howard. He's not that good.
Quarterback power.
I'd have to see their
Everybody
offensive line
fall in
improve.
love. Quarterback power.
Is their offensive line good enough, though, Evan? Are they built different?
Yeah, they are.
Bad news for us Michigan State fans as well. If Aiden Childs is Lamar Jackson, then we'll just never win anything big.
In college, those quarterbacks play.
Yeah, Lamar won nothing in college either. Just the Heisman.
Deshaun Watson won a title. I'm talking about football, dude.
Oh, sorry. So, are you sad? Are you happy that they promoted Chiron, or whatever his name is?
Yeah.
It's the right move.
Yeah, I think
you didn't want him to even a little part of you was like, ooh, let's explore, let's see what we can find.
No, because it was so late. We missed the whole cycle.
Cliff Kingsbury is available.
Brian Kelly was ready to jump.
David Shaw is available.
He wasn't.
David
And we
Shaw
would not
would
take
be
Brian Kelly.
disastrous.
Would not
David
be.
Shaw would be a disaster.
Come on, guys.
Were you embarrassed that
No,
the list was just as bad as Michigan State's? Arguably worse because Jonathan Smith wasn't on it.
No, I
There
told
was
you
never
guys
a
the entire
list,
time
Alex.
that like
Oh,
those
Pete
lists that
Thamel
were out.
drops the list that are
Pete
fake
Thamel's
every
a
time.
fake.
I'm not
He's a
sure what
squid.
people thought the list would look like based on when the job came open and who's
Nick
around.
Saban, Kirby Smart, Dan Lanning, Kalen DeBoer. That's the list that Michigan fans expected.
Alex,
I
the
don't think
list
so.
is
I think-
all those coaches' agents like telling Pete Thamel, like, yeah, put us on that.
Yeah, I know what those lists are. They're mostly fake.
But I don't think Michigan fans, like rational ones, are pretty humble when it comes to the job. Like it's not like a top 5. It's
No.
different. It's a
No.
academic school.
My main thing was now looking back, if DeBoer didn't go to Alabama, you probably would have had a decent chance to get him if you would have chose. Turns
100%.
out you probably would have chose more anyways, I would guess.
That would be a tough decision.
Yeah.
The biggest
I
elephant
think
in the
DeBoer
room.
made a bad mistake, but that's irrelevant.
What do you mean?
I think they're going to run him out of town in 3 years, and it's going to be tough for him. He'll get jobs.
Ooh, I'll take action on that. I think he's going to be a dog there.
Dude, I just think like if you don't win
What are we talking?
11 games, like at least you're like dead. You're dead.
All right,
to
what
them.
is it? 3 years? He's fired?
All right, I mean, let's pose this question differently. Will
I'll
he win
take
a
it.
national championship within 3 years?
No.
That's so unrealistic. That's insane.
Okay, that's what they expect. So then I would think that he'll be out.
I don't think they expect that.
Yes, they do. It's Title Town.
No. You don't think people realize that they had the greatest coach in college football history?
Irrational down south SEC fans that I now am immersed with at all times. No, yeah, they do not.
You're not Alex.
They do
You're
not
Big
think
12 country
rationally.
still.
You're telling me if he makes the playoff 2 out of his first 3 years,
Houston's in
you're
the
just gonna
SEC?
boot him?
Texas A&M's in the SEC, Evan, and they're the closest school.
Alex, you're
So,
in Houston, actually. You're actually in Houston.
Alex.
Houston's actually the closest.
well,
He makes the playoff 2 out of 3 years, they're going to boot him.
if they miss the playoff in one of those years,
If they don't, they may not make it next year, and that would be feasible.
That is
they
100%
just don't make it next year.
do not make
Alex,
the
the
national
roster
championship
left
game
and
within
nobody's
3
coming in.
years. They're booting him.
Then they deserve to suck because that's ridiculous.
I'm not going to actually take actionable money on this, but
Yeah, because you're
I
too
would-
scared you're going to be wrong.
well, I think Kalen DeBoer's a good coach. I just worry that
A great coach.
yeah,
a
no,
great
I,
coach.
I think he is that. I just think like I don't know why he left. Yes, I understand leaving Washington. I wouldn't take the Alabama job.
Money.
What? Then you're just scared.
Yeah, you are
Why
scared.
would you not?
You're scared of failure.
You're scared.
You don't trust your own
out
self.
of town. Run
Bet
me
on
out of
yourself.
town.
And what? Pay
He
your
almost won
buyout
the
and you're
national
rich?
title with Washington. He could go win it anywhere he wants. Why would you want to live in Alabama?
That's not true. That was a perfect storm of a season for them where they got the transfer quarterback in, and it happened fast in his tenure.
He's lost like 6 games in his life as a head coach. It's wild.
He's a dog.
Well, then you have nothing to worry about. He'll win a national championship in 3 years.
Michigan's stock and recruiting, I think, goes up because Sharon will actually prioritize that.
That's
so
what
I'm
Chris Ballard
confident about that. The
So-
biggest elephant in the room that we need to touch on before we leave is, I mean, it's a broken record, but what does Warren Manuel do? Does that guy do?
What do you mean?
What
He
does
did
he do?
everything. He did everything. What was he going to do? I get it.
In this
Ward
case-
sucks at his job. No doubt about it. Terrible AD. Jim wanted to leave, though. He even
Jim
said
always
in
wanted to
the
leave.
presser yesterday or the interview yesterday on Fox, he was like, yeah, like I've always just had the inkling to go back to the NFL. And he said, there's no Lombardi trophy in college football. You weren't keeping him.
No, I do get that.
I do think there was a small
but-
part that you could have kept him if the relationship between Harbaugh and the AD were better.
It would have
Yes,
been perfect,
earlier in the
though.
year, if you wrapped it up, yes. But if you just if you put Ward's resume, I know you have some titles in there, and he did see some moments, but Jim Harbaugh gone under his watch. John Beilein left under his watch. Eric
Beeline
Bakich
disaster decision.
left under his watch. The softball coach retired under his watch, and she probably had more years to give. And the hockey program, he let a scandal go on for like half a year and wouldn't get rid of the guy, and that went into a dumpster fire.
Well,
Not that I'm actually
they're
invested
still good.
that hard in all their sports, but if that was going on at Butler, I'd be so pissed. I'd be happy because they're winning, and they did have
Not
some
to
great
mention,
years, but
they're having
he just-
the worst basketball season of all time.
and he's retaining Juwan thus far. Like I know no actions happened. It could at the end of the year, but it's essentially
Someone
if
told
you're
me
really
they're
good at your
keeping him
job,
next year.
if you're really good at your job, Ward Manuel cannot keep you there. And that's what he's proven over a decade, 7 years, whatever. It's crazy. If you're good, he's not staying there. And the strength coach, which I guess Harbaugh made a huge offer, but I just don't know how you can't wrap up Ben Herbert too. Is he that loyal to Jim? Maybe, but pay him whatever it takes. You're only paying Sharon more like $5 million. Why can't you just spend whatever else on pay a strength coach $4 million?
Did the
I don't
contract details come out for him?
Yeah, it's like 5 years, 5.5, something like that.
Holy, they lowballed the shat out of him. He's like
they gave him
the 13th highest paid coach in the Big Ten.
They gave him a kind of an unserious offer, hopefully for his assistants, and then you go and lose. Oh, it's $6 million a year, and then you go and lose your strength coach, which is crazy. Where's the money going? What's the money for? You lost at DC, which I was fine, but like
Michigan literally was like, you know what? We won the national championship. Let's go back to academics, boys. And they're just shipping everything out. We're done. Don't care. No, Michigan will be fine, football wise. Basketball,
yeah, he's tied. He's tied for 6th highest in the Big Ten at the end of, if it was the end of last season. He makes the same as PJ Fleck, Ryan Day, James Franklin, Luke Fickell, and Kurt Ferenc, and Brett Bielema. Oh, are the coaches that out earn him? Got it. That was the list of people that out earn him.
Jonathan Smith makes 7.2 a year.
Yeah.
So that's more.
Yeah, they lowballed him, and they couldn't keep the strength coach. It's baffling. Like, where's the money going?
It's funny. It's funny. It's good entertainment.
Is Kurt Campbell about to get promoted to OC and make like $5 million as well? Like, who are we paying in our salary pool?
Who are your coordinators going to be? There's so many questions. You at least have this excitement, you know?
Kurt Campbell, OC, most likely, and then DC is still up in the air.
Is Kurt Campbell?
He was the quarterback's coach last year.
DC, like hiring from outside, you think?
I don't foresee Klingscale or Elston getting the job. But I would, if it meant keeping them, I would be down for it. I think there's a linebackers coach from the Ravens. His name's slipping me, but he's been linked to it. And then potentially Jim Leonard, but I don't think they would go Jim Leonard route. I think
has it ever
the Ravens pipeline
worked out where the best coach in program history leaves and then you just hire from within for every single open position throughout the entire staff? Has that ever worked? Is this a test case?
I'd have to do a lot of research.
This could really prove how important the head man is. This could prove that whole theory.
The head coach has never, except for when Tom Osborne retired from Nebraska, has never left after they won a title. So it's a very unique situation in general.
We're about to find out how important head coach specifically is.
That is a stat.
And 3 of the 4 playoff teams have new coaches, which is crazy as well.
You
could be successful, and it all goes away. Sark is the only one that stayed.
Now, granted, DeBoer just went from one playoff team to the other.
Zachary Orr is the inside linebackers coach for the Ravens. That could be the next DC, if you're bored. Also, I put out this tweet too, just to leave you with doomsday. And I mean this pretty wholeheartedly. If Jake Thaw hadn't recovered his muff punt and Michigan lost to Alabama in the Rose Bowl like that, I probably wouldn't watch football for 5 years.
After the Lions stop.
Game. No, that would have broken me. No, that would have broken me, man.
You would not, because just think back to COVID when we had nothing and how miserable it was. You would never not watch.
I'd become a movie guy and a TikTok guy.
You have terrible taste in movies.
It'd be better than watching crushing losses. So thank God that Jake Thaw held on to that, because I couldn't stomach.
Just watch a new sport, Grant. You'd just be all in on EPL and
No more sports, probably. Too much heartbreak.
All sports?
Yeah. I wouldn't be able to handle it if
All
we
right,
lost that game
now
like
you're
that.
unserious.
You
That's
could become a
where we end.
NASCAR
Oh.
fan.
Cheers
No,
to
you-
nothing. Sports
Go
are
to
dead for
FS.
us.
Go to not FS. We'll go to IndyCar. Push.
F1,
No.
Evan.
Push.
As for Verstappen, just cheer for him. He always wins.
He wins every time. Literally.
Verstappen and Mahomes. That's what I heard the discussion today on one
No
of the
stopping
podcasts.
Mahomes.
The most dominant athletes in the world right now. Verstappen and Mahomes.
Joey
Wear my
Chestnut.
Mahomes jersey on the podcast next
Joey
week.
Chestnut did get mentioned, Evan. He did get mentioned.
Yes.
Cheers to episode 152.
Cheers.
To pain.